My first impression of my host family was, I guess, so I came to Mexico around 8 o'clock at night. That's when my flight got in. And so she wasn't able to pick me up, so one of her sisters was able to pick me up from the airport. And my first impression was kind of like that late night travel experience. But we just pretty much sat down and she made me a sandwich because I'd been starving from a long day of travel. And I was definitely nervous. I was not really sure. I think what I anticipated was that we would have that instant connection, which I later realized was not the case. You kind of have to build that relationship with your family that you're staying with. So I think it was definitely a little bit of awkward, getting to know you questions at first, and it got more easier as we went along. The family structure of the people I was staying with was basically I was living with the grandparents, so I had grandma and grandpapa that I was living with, and they had 3 adult children that had already moved out of the house. And what was great was that even though I was just living with my host mom and host dad, all of their kids would come over with their kids every Sunday, and really it was like grandma's house, so everyone always came over, and I got to really know just different age levels and different age groups within my host family through that. So my host family's house was pretty big since they had built it to house all of their 3 children, and so my room was actually kind of like their guest bedroom that they had. It was technically separate from the house, so I would go out into this little courtyard area, open my door and go into my room, and then if I wanted to go into the main part of the house, I would walk through a little courtyard. So whenever it rained, it was a bit messy. But yeah, and then we had a backyard. There was actually a pool because in Mexico it's very, very hot. So it was nice to have a pool back there. They had a basketball court. We also had a little kind of courtyard area in the front of the house as well. So my biggest surprise was actually the fact that my host mom, she had a knee surgery while she was staying with me. She gave me the opportunity to switch housing if I wanted to, but I really knew that I was meant to be with this host family. And so I think that was really something I didn't expect, was to kind of deal with the imperfections of life that happen, in our everyday households when we're in America, and then to go to Mexico and realize that they're equally as imperfect, and to kind of deal with that situation was a big surprise. My favorite thing was, I think, just having a home away from home, and the fact that I was able to really have someone to guide me through what it's like to live in Mexico, and to really feel as close as I could to the culture that I was living in. I really wanted to get that immersive experience, and so being able to walk home from the bus stop just like your average Mexican student was a really awesome thing for me. The biggest challenge that I faced with my host family was definitely communication, especially so I came to Mexico knowing that I had a fairly good grasp on Spanish, but trying to figure out even just how to do the laundry took me several takes. And so I think that was definitely just kind of overcoming those when I didn't have a word, that I didn't really know that vocab, and so trying to parse it together and figure it out was a challenge. My relationship with my host family, I wanted a relationship that could be both something that if I wanted to attend family events and really be a part of their family, I could, but if I wanted to do other things, I had that opportunity. So I think that's really what I ended up doing. There was a lot of times they would have Sunday dinners and just bring the whole extended family over to the house. So whenever I was available, I would stop by for that. My host mom and I went to get ice cream a couple times, and we went to the mall. So I really got to enjoy even just sitting down at the dinner table with them every night. But then I also had my friends at my host university, and I had my choir that I was a part of, so I had all these other things that I also got to experience. I think the biggest skill I learned was flexibility, and just to not expect everything to go perfectly or go the way I anticipated it to. So I think learning to just kind of go with the flow and be open for whatever was going to happen, that's what I learned. If I could go back and do it again, I would definitely still live with a host family. I think it really made my experience in Mexico. I got to, I think, grow so much more in my language, and I felt so much more comfortable to learn about the Mexican culture because I was with a host family.